Okay, so I wanted to come on here because I am editing this video right now. It is oh, why did my flashlight go on? It's December 27 and I recorded this video December 18, 17, something like that. And I was looking back at the footage and I noticed I didn't do an outro. I'm like crying a lot in the beginning and I didn't really do like a proper intro, so I just wanted to come on here and just do that part, I guess. So I'm recording on my MacBook right now and I have my retainers on, so just bear with me right now. But basically I wanted to put this video out, record this video and share my experience, my story about what happened, and my experience for this kind of situation that I never thought I would be in or go through. So I at first I was hesitant about recording this video because it's a serious topic and it's really emotional for me, and I wasn't sure if putting it out there, that part of my life, would be even worth it, but now that to see how I am now, it's like I feel like putting my story out there, I want to help other people that can relate, or I don't want anyone that's going through what I went through to feel lonely, because that's basically how I felt and I still kind of feel lonely about it. So, um, this video is not for clout, it's not for attention or anything like that. It's really just for sharing my experience and to let you guys know what happened. And because like no one knows, I mean, other than my husband and like two other people, I think, but like this is like genuinely like coming from me, from my emotions. Like I really want to, like, I just really want my experience, my story, to basically inform you guys that like stuff happens, life is not perfect, and like something that you never thought would happen to you can happen to you. And then once it personally happens to you, you're just like, oh shoot, like I don't like it, I don't know how to deal with it, like, and it's okay. Like that's the thing about me right now, is accepting about everything, understanding that, why and all of that. But um yeah, and I just, with the video, I noticed that I was really all over the place in the beginning, and I didn't like it, but I just literally just turned on the camera and just started talking. But basically, this all started in July, or I'm sorry, this all started in September and October, and it was a tough time, and it still is. That's a couple months ago, and I'm now deciding to talk about it. So yeah, but this is a really bad angle. um, what am I trying to say? Okay, so like I said, this all started in like end of September, beginning of October, I think. I don't even remember anymore, but basically, I can stop saying that word. What happened was is that I was having I don't even know how to start it off, but I'm just gonna start off with the whole birth control situation. I was not on birth control for a good minute, and that's because I couldn't get my refill. Something about with my insurance, I had to basically, okay, so what happened was is that I had Medi-Cal, and with Medi-Cal everything's covered. Well, my Medi-Cal got terminated because of me getting married, a huge increase in income and stuff like that. So I got my Medi-Cal terminated, and then I had to just have my only employer's insurance, which I was totally fine with. But Medi-Cal, it's good. You don't pay for anything. But yeah. So when that happened, I didn't know that my Medi-Cal terminated or like something with that, and then because with my employer's insurance, they only wanted me to get like my prescriptions through mail order, and I had no idea. So when I was trying to refill it at CVS, which is a retail pharmacy, they told me, "Oh, you can't get your medication filled." So I had no birth control for like weeks, and then I was like, you know what? Like, I don't want to worry about it right now. It's honestly was stressing me out because going from talking to the insurance and then the retail pharmacy and the mail order pharmacy, I was just like over it. So yeah, during this time, of course, me and RJ, we're stuff always happens. Okay, we're not we're active. That's what I'm trying to say, is that we're active and sexually active. So during this time, not being on birth control and not really using any protection or anything like that, like we were just going at it, right? So sorry if that was TMI, but like really, that's, to be real with you, that's honestly what was going on. And then I was feeling really different. Um, like me, okay, so ever since having Kingston, like if there's any change on my body, I can notice it like right away. And I think that's just because of me being paranoid of like anything happening to me. Oh, excuse my zit, whatever. Yeah, so I just knew something was wrong with my body. It's like normal but not too normal, because like I'm supposed to get my period at like in 2 weeks, but it's still kind of early, and like why am I getting these kind of symptoms? So the symptoms I was having was basically I was extra tired. When I say extra tired, I was extra mother tired, okay? Like I was sleeping in the car from just going from to the store. I'm already sleeping in the car. Right when I laid right when I laid down on the bed, I'm like knocked out, and it was like so hard for me to stay awake because I have my toddler to take care of. So it was just, I was so damn tired. And then I always kept blaming my tiredness with the gym, because at this time, this is when I was like, really serious. I still am serious with the gym, but I'm saying this is when it was like a huge turn for me, taking it really serious about going to the gym, staying fit, all of that. So I was like, oh, maybe I'm just like working out too much. And then I'm out of breath. And then another thing that I noticed was that I was having like tenderness on my boobs. Like it was very firm and like weird. Like it's normal to feel like that when you're about to get your period, which that's what I get every month when I'm about to get my period. But like this time it was like times 20 for some reason. Like it was like if I was like my boobs are just like blowing up, but they're like not. Anyway, so I was like, okay, that's like another weird thing. And then I remember one day I was about to take a shower and I noticed, okay, this is TMI. Okay, so if you don't want to listen to it, you can skip over or just mute yourself. But I was about to take a shower and I noticed that my left nipple was like oozing out. I wouldn't say oozing out, that's not nasty, but it was like white stuff was coming out. I think it was just milk. I was producing again for some reason. Like I don't know why. Because it's been over 2 years. Yeah, or it's been less than 2 years, a little under 2 years since I last breastfed. So I'm just like, whoa, like why am I producing? Why is milk producing in my boobs? So I was like, okay, that's just weird. Like I don't know why, but it also can be on your diet, I guess. Like I read something about your diet, depending on what you eat and stuff. Sometimes leftover milk or something can, trigger it or whatever. So I was like, not too worried about that, but I was just like thrown off at the same time, because it's just like weird because you're not breastfeeding. I already am over that stage, so um yeah. And then next thing you know, I was like, it was getting closer to like the week before my expected period date. I was really feeling different, like abnormal, like from what I usually feel before I get my period. So I took a pregnancy test, and what's weird is that this first pregnancy test that I took, It's an old one, but it wasn't expired. And it has 2 sticks in it. So I remember the first stick, I peed on it. Wasn't expecting anything, but when I peed on it, I waited, the 3 minute mark and nothing showed up. It was literally blank white. Like usually you can see the urine like going through. You know what I'm talking about? You can see it going through and then you see something pop up. No, like this one, you couldn't even see the urine go through. It was literally just plain out white, like nothing was going through. So I was like, okay, this is weird. This is a defective one. So then I peed on the next one because I was like, okay, that's maybe a sign, like I need to take another one. So I took another one and it was negative. Nothing showed up. Okay, so I was like, okay, like I have nothing to worry about. And then I think I took a 1 day break or something like that. And then I wanted to take another test. So in this part, I'll include the clip or like the recordings that I did in my car or I previously recorded because it basically explains everything else. But I just wanted to come on here and do the intro and start it off. But yeah.
When it came to 2 days later after that, I remember I wanted to take another pregnancy test. I just had like this gut feeling that maybe, I could be pregnant because we did have sex multiple times and I was on birth control, no protection or anything. Like, it's just me wanting to take another pregnancy test. So I took another one and I remember like I had everything recorded. I had all my reactions. I had photos of all the pregnancy tests and I don't have them anymore. Like I was recording because I was like, maybe I am. Like, why don't I just film everything, document everything. But once I told RJ about what happened, I deleted everything because I thought I can like move on from it. But obviously that's not the case. So I regret like not keeping them because it'll help me also tell you guys on a time frame and also see my initial reaction on like if I was pregnant or like during that experience, to see my reaction and my emotions at that time. So it sucks. I wish I kept everything, but yeah, so I took a pregnancy test and I remember like it wasn't a positive. Like I wouldn't say it's a full positive, but you can definitely, it's like one of those where it has to be like a cross. And even though it's this way, like even though it's just one like this, that's negative. But if you see something going up, like that can be a possible positive. So I swear to you, I saw a shade. I kept seeing shades. So I took another one after that and I saw a shade. It's not like a legit line. And I don't know how to take that. Like, I don't know if that's a positive or what, because once you have a true positive pregnancy test, like that's a positive. There's no, trick on that unless you bought like a fake one. But like really, like a positive is a positive when you take a pregnancy test. And this one, it was just like confusing because it was a shade, and I wasn't sure how to come across it. Like I don't know what to do next. So I remember I took another one. Like I said, they were both shades, and I was like, okay, like this is odd. So I remember that same day I went to Walmart. I even brought Kingston. I had to like make an excuse on why I'm bringing him. I forgot, because like when I go like to the store or something, I usually just leave Kingston at home. But I think I told like my in-laws that we're just getting something really quick. But really I was getting pregnancy tests like almost every day. And that same day I took a pregnancy test at night and it was the same thing. I even took a different brand and it was like a shade. Like it's not a full line. So that's why I was so confused. I don't know what that means. Here comes the next day and Here comes the next day, and I got a straight up positive. Not the one where it says word positive, but it has a line. Like, there's a legit cross. And, you know, with that, you know, when I saw that stick, I just remember I was so happy because for me, already having Kingston, like, and going through that over again, like, I don't mind, because I guess it's just me. I'm just a very family person. I've always wanted to have kids at a young age, and to see, I don't know what to say. Oh my God, don't cry. So when that was two already positives, straight up positives, I wanted to take the one that was I can't even think. I wanted to take the one where it says the word legit pregnant. I know I was like 2 days early for my expected period, and you know, it's way too early to take those kind of tests, but of course, me being so anxious, I just want to take it. I took it, and it said not pregnant, and you know, it's a bummer at first, but when you see that you already have a positive pregnancy test, like, you start thinking about what's gonna happen next. And I wasn't sure if I should tell RJ yet, because of course I wanted to surprise him. I wanted to do everything all cute and tell him, you know what, we're gonna have another child, and just, that's why I kept it a secret. And you know, at this time I didn't know what to do next. I just remember I was continue to go to work, or continue working at home, and I just was always thinking of ways to surprise RJ, because I was looking up YouTube videos. Like, I know it's only just one damn pregnancy test, but a positive is a positive, and I was so excited, and I kept Googling all these ways to surprise him, like all these cute ways, and like, you know, what to expect for the next couple weeks, because I don't really remember everything with Kingston, and I was just excited, you know. And so because of it being early and getting a positive pregnancy test early, you know, I didn't want to call a doctor or my OBGYN right away, because, you know, it's just one test on one day, and I don't want to call right away. I wanted to wait till after I missed my actual period date. So yeah, I remember I just like stayed quiet for that day, and then the next day, I remember I took a pregnancy test, and it was a positive, but it was, you know, I just remember it was, okay, so I'm trying to remember, I think the next day I took, more pregnancy tests. I wanted to take every day, because I just wanted to make sure, you know, that I really am pregnant, and that I'm not just seeing anything. And the next day, I remember I took pregnancy tests again, but I took a different brand, where this one has, you know, not the cross, it has the two lines. And I just remember I took three pregnancy tests this day, and all of them were just a shade again. So it wasn't like a full line, which, I mean, I wasn't expecting to be a full line, because you know, different pregnancy tests, different brands, they read different levels, like a certain amount of levels in order for the line to show up, or for the positive to show up, basically, if that makes sense. But this one was a different brand, and I was just thinking, like, maybe this one, you know, whatever the levels in my body, the pregnancy level, whatever, I forgot what it's called, but it doesn't read as much as this one, because you know, like, I hope that made sense. But I remember the next day I took pregnancy tests. They were all shades. It's like a one straight line and then one shade, but it's like formed into a line, if that makes sense. Like it was, there's something there basically. And I was not tripping because I remember I took 3 and I was like, okay, like I don't like this pregnancy test. I wanted to go back to the ones with the cross. So I remember I went back to Walmart, bought more of, I think it's a clear blue. I think it's the clear blue. And I bought more of those, and also it was cheaper. And like I wanted to take it that same day, but I just know like that's just excessive. Like I'm being just too much right now. So I remember I took it the next day, and the line, it's not a line. It's mind you, where I saw that positive, that plus, you know, it was a straight up plus, and now 2 days later I take the same brand of pregnancy test and it's not as opaque as the plus. It's just a shade. It went back to like a shade. So I was confused because I'm like, that's odd, because it's supposed to get darker and darker. And at this point I already wanted to make a doctor's appointment. I know it's already just the next, because I think it was like the day before the day before my period, I think. Or it was like the day before my expected period. You know, I already know I had to look for a PCP at least to get a confirmation through blood that I'm pregnant. And I wanted to make that appointment right away, because you just never know with doctor's appointments, or like finding a new, you know, physician. Finding a new PCP is such a struggle, because you have to not only do your research, you have to see if your insurance is covered. You want to see if that doctor's good or what. So I wanted to, you know, hop on it right away. And yeah, so I already had an OBGYN, like, you know, in mind, and I already know what insurances they cover, and luckily they do, you know, my employer's insurance. So when it came to wanting to make an appointment with a PCP, I found someone. I made the appointment, but it wasn't till I think 2 days later. It's so hard. Like, I'm so sorry that this video is all over the place, but while waiting for my doctor's appointment, I kept taking pregnancy tests, and I just noticed that it's not as opaque. It's not as dark, you know? And I was like, okay, like this is just weird. Like I just want to stop, you know, I just want to stop taking pregnancy tests, because it's bringing me down, because I just saw 3 days ago that I had a legit positive, and then now I'm seeing this, you know, and I don't know. It was hard to understand what I was going through at that moment. So, I remember when it was the day before my doctor's appointment. I remember I just woke up. Like, I woke up and I just know that something was wrong. Like, I felt, like, I remember waking up feeling empty. Like, you can, I don't know how to explain it, but you can truly feel when something is different with your body, and that's how I felt. And I felt that I just lost something. Like, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just like you feel so empty inside. Like, you feel like you just lost everything. And, you know, I don't know what I was thinking at that moment, but I just remember, like, okay, this is not, like, I just woke up sad. I don't know why. And when I took pregnancy tests throughout that day, no shade, no line, just nothing. I even took the ones where it's the 2 lines, you know, where it had the shade, nothing. It was just 1 line. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, okay, like, this is weird. Like, why? Like, in my head, I was never thinking of a miscarriage, because, like, I'm so early in my pregnancy, you know? Like, I don't... You just never thought that it would happen to you. Like, you're in denial. I guess that's the way to say it, is that I was in denial, and I just kept thinking about that day where I had that positive pregnancy test, and I was ignoring all those other tests where it's not getting darker, or it's not showing a full line, or showing a true plus sign anymore. Like, that was just me at that moment. And, you know, when it came to my doctor's appointment, when it came to my doctor's appointment, you know, it was my new appointment with her, and I had to explain to her on why I made this appointment and stuff like that. And basically she told me that probably, like, she told me basically that for something that I experienced is an early miscarriage. So I didn't know what that was. I just know about miscarriages like 2-3 months in, you know, and to hear that you can still have a miscarriage when it's only like 4 weeks in, supposedly, like, even like I would have never known that I was pregnant at this time if I never took that test. You know, if I never had that gut feeling of knowing something's wrong with my body, I would have just been like, oh, I'm expecting my period at this time, you know? And to hear it from a professional, to say that, you know, that I didn't have the levels anymore, and that I possibly went through a chemical pregnancy, it's just... it's tough, because you just never thought that would happen to you, you know? And for me, I felt like at that moment, I just remembered that I feel like I failed. I felt like I just remember that I felt like I was a failure. Like, I felt like that it's all my fault that this baby didn't get to implant somewhere. Like, it conceived, but it didn't find a place in my body. And I maybe because I was going to the gym so much, maybe because I was sleeping the wrong way or taking the wrong foods, or I kept blaming it on me. And I know I shouldn't be doing that. I know that that's unhealthy. I know that, like, I knew that it's not my fault, but I kept blaming myself that it's my fault, because I'm the one that was carrying the baby. I was the one that was supposed to hold that baby. And just imagine if I was to... Just imagine if I was to actually go through with this pregnancy and actually be 3 months in, and then to find out that you're not pregnant anymore. That's why I'm here, not understanding why it happens. I'm here, like, figuring out why, you know, why am I not able to continue this pregnancy? What did I do wrong? And then I just start blaming everything on myself, and then I didn't know what to do next. I didn't know. I honestly thought that telling my husband everything would just mend everything. You know, it would make me feel much better about accepting it, and just understanding on that it just happens in life, you know, and it when it's our time, it's our time. But for me, it was just, I don't know what it is. It was just so hard, and it just keeps getting harder now, especially with the holidays. Okay, so I have a lot of relatives or I have we have a lot of get-togethers now because obviously it's the holidays, so we see more of our relatives, our friends, you know, and they always bring up about having another child. You know, and I just try and shrug it off, or I just try and just like, you know, and be like, oh, it hurts, like, just, but in the back of my mind, I start remembering about what happened. I start remembering about, you know, this chemical pregnancy, and that I could have been pregnant, but it's like a constant reminder that I failed, and I don't know why. Like, I just want to, I don't know. I just want to fully understand on why it happened. And I don't know how. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to be okay with it. Like, just, it makes me feel so bad. Like, I feel so sorry for the people out there that are trying to get pregnant, or just had a miscarriage, or just like they can't conceive. Like, I just, for me to personally able to get pregnant with Kingston and, you know, go through it and to have him, I'm so blessed and I'm so grateful. But it's just now it makes me scared to even try again. Like, to be real with you guys, to be 100% real, ever since with this early miscarriage, I can't even have my husband hold me. I can't even like, when RJ tries and get intimate with me, I have like this urge to just like push him off, because I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to experience this again, because it hurts. And it sucks because it's still hurting, because I have a constant reminder on relatives always asking about a second baby, or it's not their fault, but I know it's so. I know it's not their fault, but it's like, how do I just let it bypass me? How do I just let it go? That, like, it happens. Life, it just happens in life, and it's not our time, you know? Oh my god, I was trying not to cry this much. I didn't want to cry at all. You know, recently, with, you know, recently with Kingston, he's 2 years old, and he's at that stage where he wants to constantly play, you know, and to constantly have someone with him to play with him. And, you know, he asks me all the time. He's been asking anyone, you know, come play with me, Peppa Pig. Like, it's just another reminder that, like, you know, we can have another child. Like, we could have had another child, that, you know, you can have a brother or sister to play with. Like, it makes me sad to hear him always asking to play with him. He needs a playmate, and it just sucks because I want to provide that for him, but I have like this part of me that's holding it back because of, you know, this experience. I can't. I didn't think that it would get to me like this, because probably to some of you, you're thinking like, this is not a fully developed baby. Why are you tripping about it? Like, if you imagine for you to have a positive pregnancy test, and then literally the next day, nothing. One day you're pregnant, the next day you're not. How can you be okay with that? You know, it makes me realize that I may portray myself that I'm like all happy and that everything's okay. We're going to Disneyland and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I am happy, but there's also a part of me where I'm struggling with myself. I'm having a hard time accepting this and understanding it, basically. Like,